Today we're taking a look at these college basketball matches, which are happening on Friday, January 6, 2023, and giving you our 3 best bets for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and make sure to watch it till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Also check out our Patreon if you want access our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link in description and comment section below. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comment section below. Our first pick we have Columbia vs Princeton. There will be Ivy League action on Friday night as the Princeton Tigers travel to New York City to take on the Columbia Lions. Princeton has come out of the gates well with a record of 10-4 overall and 1-0 in conference play. Columbia, meanwhile, has started much slower at just 6-10 on the season. Princeton has a balanced defense. Ryan Langberg, a 6'4" senior, averages a team-high 12.6 points. Tosin Ebuonwun, a 6'8" senior, averages 12.4 points and a team highs of 6.3 rebounds and 4.1 assists. Other key performers are 6'9" senior Keishan Kelman, 10.3 ppg. And 6'4" junior Matt Alako, 9.4 ppg. Alako is shooting .396 from three-point range. Columbia has just one double-figure scorer, 6'2" sophomore Geronimo Rubio de la Rosa, who averages 12.8 points and 5.8 rebounds, while shooting .382 from three-point range and .896 from the foul line. Other top scorers include 6'4" freshman Avery Brown, 9.8 ppg. 6-10 freshman Zinedine Bedri, 8.6 ppg. 4.6 rpg. And 6-7 freshman Blair Thompson, 8.1 ppg. The Princeton Tigers are averaging 75.8 points on 47.8% shooting and allowing 65.1 points on 41.4% shooting. Ryan Langberg is averaging 12.6 points and 3.7 rebounds, while Tosin Ebuonwun is averaging 12.4 points and 6.3 rebounds. Keishan Kelman is the third double-digit scorer, and Matt Alako is grabbing 5.7 rebounds. The Princeton Tigers are shooting 36.1% from beyond the arc and 69.5% from the free throw line. The Princeton Tigers are allowing 30.6% shooting from deep and are grabbing 36.6 rebounds per game. The Columbia Lions are averaging 67.9 points on 40.5% shooting and allowing 69.4 points on 43% shooting. Geronimo Rubio de la Rosa is averaging 12.8 points and 2.4 assists, while Avery Brown is averaging 9.8 points and 2.2 rebounds. Zinedine Bedri is grabbing 4.6 rebounds, and Blair Thompson is grabbing 4.4 rebounds. The Columbia Lions are shooting 32.5% from beyond the arc and 71.7% from the free throw line. The Columbia Lions are allowing 32.7% shooting from deep and are grabbing 33.4 rebounds per game. The Princeton Tigers have comfortably been the better team this season, and that includes success on the road, where they're shooting 52.1% from the field. Princeton is 4-0 against the spread in its last 4 road games. Columbia is 4-2 against the spread in its last 6 games. Columbia doesn't take care of the ball, and Princeton could take advantage of that. The Lions have 195 assists and 239 turnovers. Columbia comes into this game 1-0 in the Ivy League, which may be a surprise to the preseason prognosticators that picked the Lions to finish in the bottom third of the league. This game, however, will make those same people feel vindicated as the youthful Lions battle Princeton. Princeton has a stronger offense, protects the basketball better and defends better than Columbia. Princeton should be able to take full advantage of the turnover-prone Lions to convert a number of easy baskets and build the kind of lead that Columbia is unable to compete against. Princeton is also stronger on the glass, so Columbia will not get very many second-chance opportunities in this matchup. Princeton will control the pace and tempo and will win this one comfortably. Our first best pick is Princeton minus 10 points. For our second best bet we have Northern Kentucky vs Oakland. The Oakland Golden Grizzlies and Northern Kentucky Norse meet Friday in college basketball action at the Truist Arena. The Oakland Golden Grizzlies look for their 5th win. The Northern Kentucky Norse look for their 10th win. Trey Townsend is leading Oakland in scoring with an average of 16.6 points per game, while Jalen Moore is the second leading scorer and the leader in assists, with averages of 14.1 points and 6.0 assists per game. Keaton Hervey is the leading rebounder with an average of 7.7 rebounds per game. Oakland has 4 players averaging double figures in scoring and as a team and scoring an average of 73.1 points per game. Northern Kentucky looks for its 3rd consecutive victory when hosting Oakland on Friday. Northern Kentucky is 9-6 overall and in Horizon League leading 4-0. The Norse defeated the UPE Jaguars 55-42 on Saturday. The leading scorer for Northern Kentucky was Marcus Warwick with 15 points. The Norse committed just 5 turnovers, while forcing UPE into turning the ball over 20 times. Marcus Warwick is leading Northern Kentucky in scoring with an average of 19.4 points per game, while Chris Brandon is the leading rebounder with an average of 9.6 rebounds per game, and Xavier Rhodes is the leader in assists with an average of 3.5 assists per game. Northern Kentucky has only 2 players averaging double figures in scoring, and as a team the Norse are scoring an average of 66.3 points per game. Oakland got off to a terrible start this season, with only 1 win over a Division I team in its first 12 games. The Golden Grizzlies played a brutal 5-game road trip to open the month of December, with 4 of those losses coming by double digits. They were underdogs in all 5 of those games, covering the spread twice. Oakland bounced back with a pair of wins over Milwaukee and Green Bay in its most recent outings, covering the spread as a favorite in both contests. The Golden Grizzlies cruised past Green Bay as 12-point favorites in an 81-65 win on New Year's Eve. Northern Kentucky got off to a slow start this season, losing 4 of its first 5 games against DI teams. The Norse have been much better since then, winning 7 of their last 9 games. They picked up consecutive wins in double overtime against Tennessee Tech and Youngstown State to open this stretch, and their most recent contests have been wins over Wright State and UPE. They were 2.5-point favorites against the Raiders and were 15.5-point favorites against the Jaguars. Junior guard Marcus Warwick has led Northern Kentucky in scoring in each of the last 4 games, and he is averaging a team-high 19.4 points per game. The Oakland Golden Grizzlies don't win games, don't cover numbers, and they're losing on the road by an average of 17.7 points. Northern Kentucky does not score many points at 66.3 points per game, but the Norse have a tough defense that is holding opponents to an average of 63.5 points per game and 43.4% shooting. In contrast, Oakland is allowing opponents to score an average of 77.7 points per game while shooting 46.6% overall and 36.1% from 3-point territory. Northern Kentucky has been an excellent home team this season, winning 8 straight games in front of its home crowd. Oakland has been equally as bad away from home, losing 7 consecutive road games. The Golden Grizzlies have been overvalued since the end of last season, covering the spread just 5 times in their last 20 games, and they are 1-6 in their last 7 games against Northern Kentucky. They have been terrible shooting from the perimeter and are going to have trouble rectifying those issues on the road. Northern Kentucky is playing its best basketball of the season and is primed to add another win on Friday night. Our second best pick is Northern Kentucky -6 points. For our third best bet we have Marist vs Ione. The Iona Gales go back on the road Friday night for a game in New York against the Marist Red Foxes. Iona comes into Friday with 10 wins on the year, riding a 3-game win streak following an 18-point blowout of St. Peter's. Defensively, Iona dominated the game, allowing only 55 points on 37% shooting and 17.6% from beyond the arc, while forcing 7 total turnovers. Offensively, Iona was by far the better team, making nearly 45% of their shots, and 30% from beyond the arc, scored 73 points after a 42-point first half. The Iona Gales are averaging 77.4 points on 46.6% shooting and allowing 66.3 points on 41.3% shooting. Walter Clayton Jr. is averaging 16.1 points and 4.4 rebounds, while Dandis Jenkins is averaging 15.9 points and 4.5 rebounds. Nelly Jr. Joseph is the third double-digit scorer, and Quinn Slazinski is grabbing 6.5 rebounds. The Iona Gales are shooting 34.2% from beyond the arc and 75.2% from the free throw line. The Iona Gales are allowing 29.6% shooting from deep and are grabbing 33 rebounds per game. The Gales are playing well at the moment and come into this game on a 3-game winning streak. They will try to keep the momentum going with a win over the Red Foxes, which will give them their 4th win in a row and 9th win in their last 11 games. The Marist Red Foxes are averaging 62.8 points on 39.4% shooting and allowing 66.6 points on 41.4% shooting. Patrick Gardner is averaging 17 points and 2.3 assists, while Noah Harris is averaging 9.5 points and 2.2 rebounds. Javen Cooley is grabbing 5.3 rebounds, and Cam Ferris is dishing 0.8 assists. The Marist Red Foxes are shooting 32.1% from beyond the arc and 65.7% from the free throw line. The Marist Red Foxes are allowing 38.6% shooting from deep and are grabbing 33.2 rebounds per game. The Red Foxes followed up their 3-game winning streak by losing their last 4 games. They will try to put an end to their streak with a win over the Gales, which will give them their 4th win in their last 8 games. Marist was middle of the pack in the conference last year, but they have really fallen off a cliff this season. After going at least an acceptable 14-16 last year, they have started off 4-8 this time around. The record already looks bad, but it's even worse than it seems. They've had one of the easiest slates of opponents in all of college basketball, as they rank just 359th out of 363 D1 teams in strength of schedule, according to KenPom. They had a decent stretch in late November where they won a few games, albeit by narrow margins, but they have since lost 4 in a row entering this one. They are 0-3 in conference play, most recently falling to Fairfield by 19. The main reason they are so much worse than they were last year is because of how many guys they lost to the transfer portal this offseason. 4 of their top 5 scorers from last season have transferred and are playing with a new team this season, and the other one graduated. Those transfers left some massive holes in their offense, and they aren't getting much production from anybody outside of big man Patrick Gardner. The Iona Gales are the better team, no matter how you slice it, and they win in the favorite role by an average of 11.8 points. The Marist Red Foxes don't shoot the ball well, and they even have a negative point differential at home. I don't care how large the spread is, you couldn't pay me to take Marist here. To say that Iona dominates this conference would be a massive understatement, as they are dramatically better than even the 2nd best team. And Marist isn't anywhere close to being the 2nd best team. If Marist can lose by 19 to Fairfield, I can't even imagine how much Rick Pitino will run up the score on them here. Iona has had no trouble crushing inferior opponents by large margins, and they have won each of their first 3 conference games by an average of more than 23 points. The Gales have won 8 of their last 10 games. They have played well offensively, even on the road where they are averaging more than 75 points per game, while making 47% of their shots. They have also taken advantage of their opportunities at the charity stripe, making over 74% of their free throws. Their ball movement is very good and they're aggressive on the offensive glass, which will give them more scoring opportunities. They've also done a good job protecting the ball and won't give the Red Foxes a lot of easy scoring opportunities. The Gales have played well defensively, and they did a better job in recent games, holding their last 3 opponents under 65 points per game, so expect them to keep Marist's offense in check. Go with Iona to cover the spread. Our 3rd best bet is Iona Gales minus 13 points.